we're going to look at the next part is right or left brain dominance. So the first time I actually heard about this was when I was from drawing, actually. And and I've taught people this. You can basically teach people how to draw with the understanding of the right brain and the left brain dominance, and turning your left brain off, and I'm going to say module, because if you're right-handed, it's your left brain that is more sequential, linear, symbolic, logical, verbal, linguistic, objective, realistic. And your right brain is more holistic, random, concrete, intuitive, nonverbal, subjective. It's basically you see patterns and spatial awareness and so on. It's like it's more of a visual. It's usually more creative. It's kind of like you think outside the box. So here's a great picture. So when I taught drawing, drawing comes from the right dominance. And I was saying, I've just jumped all over the place. When you're left-handed, it's actually your right side of your brain that's this. Okay, we say mode, left mode, right mode, just to not have that confusion. Okay, so the left brain, you can see little cubicles. It's kind of structured, and this side is kind of woo. So I'm going to say some of these words again. The left is linear. It's sequential. It's symbolic. It's logical. It's verbal linguistic. It's objective and realistic. How many of you are kind of feeling that? I relate. I figured you would. Anybody else relate to that? A little bit? Okay. On the right side, it's more holistic. It's more random. It says concrete, but I would say it's intuitive. It's nonverbal. So a lot of these people sometimes have a hard time getting words. Subjective, idealistic. Again, you are not one or the other. You have a strength. I'm just going to say again. So you will be able to, if you're right-brained, you're going to be able to get words too. So patterns, spatial, awareness, context, faces, places, objects. So the left brain puts their information in like a big filing cabinet. They put it in a filing cabinet and they pull it out, the information out like a filing cabinet. All right? So, and then this person stores information in detail and orderly and systematically, and they can pull it back up. Retrieves information in some detail and orderly fashion. They're able to retrieve information fairly quickly and fairly accurately. Right? Would that be, you feel that way? Great. The right hemisphere people are more like this. They put their information in and they kind of throw it in there. Exactly. They store the big picture of what was received, plus adds to it other ideas based on previous knowledge and experience. So they pretty much bring information from here and here together, and then they kind of come up with new things. They retrieve the big picture, plus many other things along with it. May take longer to retrieve that information, but most likely will retrieve other things along with it. They will make connections and brain associations, I say brain associations with that. And so they can actually kind of they're kind of creative with it.
Are you supposed to be one or the other?
No, you are both, but it's like you have a strength toward one. So it's not, don't think of it as I'm completely this way and I'm not that at all. You're both. You have both. So you might be partly, I definitely have part left brain, but I am totally right brain. So, but like you said, what was it that you did? Did you, I can't remember, in your story you were saying something and I was like, that's a little bit of the right brain. Or it's actually with math, like higher math stuff, there's a creativity thing there, and that's actually a right brain thing. So it's like math tends to be left brain, but there's actually beyond math, it's like goes into the right brain. Kind of crazy.
When I told you about the website for artists and stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what it was. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. All right, so in your book, it basically gives you more information on that. Do I have it? Yes. So it looks like this, page 6 of your handout in there. And it gives you all those information that I gave you, all right, on processing information. Why don't you read through general characteristics of the strengths, and just as you look through it, what do you kind of identify with there? And tell me what seems to be the strength for you. And what I want you to do is, what for you, when you look at it, is kind of what you're picking out, going, oh, that's more me than that is. I would say as I've matured, I've developed my left side. So again, it's not a hard and fast rule. It's kind of what you can develop new things out of it. So I'm definitely stronger on the right. I will read stuff and I will put it together, like things that I've read with other things that I've read, and I'll go, oh, and I get these epiphanies, I call them, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool, or I'll see a movie and then I'll be like, I feel like God and I have these dialogues where he's like, well, remember what you were reading here, and then in here, this is it's kind of an illustration of what you were reading. And so I just have this going on with me all the time. But when you get me, like, I'm putting together the seminar for, a debrief or so on, I am like sequential, words, all these things. So I know I have the left brain too. So, but it has developed. I would say it's developed through my life. It's not like it happened. Okay, the main point of this is for teaching. So how do we incorporate this into our teachings? So thinking about the left brain, sequential, verbal, organized, and then the right brain, creative, drawing out stuff, whatever.
Would you say lean into your weakness with it? So like, I'm more right brain, so should I prepare a lesson that's more left brain, so that when I start to lean towards my right a little bit more, I have it's almost like it's almost like I have like more of like a backbone to so I can be a bit more fleshed out. It's more natural to me.
Well, I wouldn't focus on you. I'd focus on the audience. So then what would you do in focusing on the audience?
Ask questions because they know what they do, so they can figure out which way they.
Yeah, you could learn them.
And then
Even before that, like when you've put the teaching together and you want to incorporate. I'm giving you the answer.
Yeah,
You want to,
both.
right? You incorporate both.
So that's kind of what I was asking. Do you put in your weakness so that both are spoken to? So
Yeah.
I know I'm going to bring a right brain mindset.
Yes, you put in both
Yeah.
for them. Yeah. Yes.
One thing which is really helpful is actually going through what you're going to teach the left brain, because they want to know in advance
Yes.
your structure for the day,
Yeah.
for the week.
Yeah.
So actually laying it out. So say for a Bible teaching today, I'm going to go through the historical background, and we're going to look at blah, and then they know the outline.
Yes. Absolutely.
The people who will go to the manual and they'll see
Exactly.
outline of what's happening.
Right, and they'll be very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. and that's probably why when I do handouts or PowerPoint, I have like kind of an outline, like the whole basics of teaching was an outline with things to fill in. That is actually more left brain. It's a more left brain approach. So it's not, the right brain people usually have a harder time with that. So my right brain, they like the discussions, so I bring the discussions in as well. So yeah.
The left brain people are like, oh, more information.
Yes, right, exactly. In fact, we were having this conversation about doing workshops, like when you're teaching the Bible or something and you have a workshop. And actually, to do a workshop, you need to do your homework so you know what the basic answers should be. There's always going to be some other things that come out, which is great. There's no problem with that at all. For me, that's not a problem. So if you have that all done, and then you bring the workshop and you have it, you know, you've got people in groups, you've got certain questions that they're asking and answering, and they're actually bringing, so you've got it all structured. What was I saying? Some people, yes, I've had people say to me, well, you're opting out of teaching. But actually, people learn best when they discover it themselves. They will retain it and they will remember it and they will be able to teach it to other people better. And so it's not a copying out because you're doing all this work beforehand anyway. And you're making sure that they get there and whatever else comes up, because other stuff comes up. And so it's like, to me that's a right brain approach, but it can be left brain as well. But some people, the left brain, really have a hard time with it. And I've had flack, let's just say, from the left brain people because they just want me, give me the information. So, but we need both. So, cool. Let's take a stand-up break.